I would like to start off today by telling you the story of a boy named Jake Owen. Jake was a 5-year-old boy who lived in Baltimore, Maryland. He was a kindergartner at the Federal Hill Preparatory School and loved to do all the normal things a 5-year-old does. He was a member of the soccer team, which his dad coached, played on a Little League baseball team, and was even an outstanding swimmer at the Otterbein Swim Club. It was 2011 and a cold winter day in December. Jake, along with his mother, father, and 9-year-old sister, were out for a normal, everyday drive. They came to rest at a red light, where Jake was in the back seat playing his video games. "I've got 43 lives left, Mommy," he exclaimed, and in that instant, everything changed forever. They were rear-ended by another vehicle traveling 62 miles an hour, who never even hit the brakes. The driver was later found to be distracted driving, and even admitted to using his cell phone at the time of the crash. As a result of the crash, Jake's father suffered a severe shoulder injury which required multiple surgeries. Jake's sister suffered a broken leg and had to spend 3 months in a wheelchair. Miraculously, Jake's mother remained unharmed in the crash, but little Jake Owen, unfortunately, did not survive. I wish I could tell you that there was a happy ending to this story, but unfortunately, that is just not the case. However, I do believe it sheds light on a major problem we have in our society today, which is distracted driving. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, distracted driving is described as any activity that can divert a person's attention away from the primary task of driving. So before we go any further, can any of you throw out some examples that you believe distracting driving would be?
Texting.
Yes.
Putting on makeup.
Yes.
Changing your pants.
Yes. These are all great examples of distracted driving. Traffic safety experts have actually divided up these distractions into 3 different categories: cognitive distraction, visual distraction, and manual distraction. Since this is a persuasive speech and not an informative speech, I will only briefly speak on these 3, but I do believe the information is important to the bigger picture. So let's begin by looking at cognitive distraction. Cognitive distraction is described as whenever the mind wanders away from the task of driving. For example, daydreaming, thinking of what you may have for dinner that night, or even trying to resolve internal conflicts can all be examples of this type of category. Visual distraction is described as whenever you focus your eyes on anything or anywhere other than the road. Examples of this type of category can be checking out billboards, looking down in the floorboard to reach objects, or even looking at nice cars that go past you. Manual distraction is described as whenever you have to remove one or both hands from the wheel of the vehicle. Examples of this type of category can be smoking, eating, and even trying to change the radio station or climate control. Looking back on these 3 types of categories, you may ask the question, can distractions be placed in more than one category at the same time? The answer to this question is yes, and these are considered the most dangerous distractions due to the fact they divert you in more than one way. A prime example of this is texting and driving. Now that I've educated you a little more on what exactly distracted driving is, I would like to prove just how big a problem it can be. In 2015, there were over 3,331 people killed in automobile accidents related to distracted driving. This accounted for 10% of all the fatal crashes for that calendar year. Upon digging deeper into this statistic, 28% of those crashes were due to cell phone use. Dr. David Strayer from the University of Utah found that you are 4 times more likely to be involved in an automobile accident if you are using your cell phone, which is about the same as if you were drunk driving. He also found that this statistic jumps to 8 times more likely if you are texting. Reading or sending a single text message distracts a driver on an average of around 5 seconds. At highway speeds, this distance is equal to the length of a football field that the driver is actually operating the vehicle completely blind. Now, I don't know about you, but my blindfolded driving skills are just a tad bit under par. Now that I have educated you and shown you how big a problem distracted driving is, let's talk about ways we can combat this problem. Personally, I believe the first and best way are stricter laws. As of June 2017, 15 states have banned the use of handheld devices while driving, whereas 47 states have actually banned texting and driving specifically. Lawmakers are also looking to crack down on these offenders who cause distracted driving accidents. For example, The man who was involved in the crash with the Owens was only fined $1,000 due to the fact that negligent homicide and reckless driving were only considered accidents at that time. In 2014, Maryland lawmakers passed a law known as Jake's Bill, which can give these offenders up to a year in jail, a $5,000 fine, and a 12-point deduction to their license. I believe laws like these are a step in the right direction, but we definitely have a long road ahead of us. Hopefully, after hearing my speech today, the next time you get in your car to go somewhere, you will think twice about distracted driving. Personally, I chose this topic because I had no care in the world about distracted driving and did it on an everyday basis. But after seeing the research and evidence, I can proudly say that I will no longer be practicing distracted driving, and I hope that you can say the same for yourselves. I would like to leave you today with the words of Susan Young, who is Jake Owen's mother. This is what she had to say about distracted driving. This is the new drunk driving in our society. There is an urgency to it. If something isn't done sooner rather than later, how many more people are going to die before we decide that enough is enough? Thank you.
Yay! Yay!